Let's talk about what to feed and what not to feed your worms. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some stuff, and then I'm actually going to go down to my worm bin and show you how my worms are doing. Let's talk about what you can feed your worm first. You can feed them fruits. You can feed them veggies. You can feed them papers. You just don't want it to be glossy paper. You can feed them cardboard, stuff like that. As long as you kind of shred it up, paper is pretty much okay. You can feed them egg shells, but usually I rinse off the egg shell because you don't want kind of like any part of the actual egg you don't really want in your worm bin because that tends to get kind of smelly. Compostable stuff like tea bags is totally fine. Coffee grounds, coffee filters, those are all good. Leafy stuff you can feed, like literal leaves, are okay in moderation, I would say. Yard scraps you want to kind of be careful about because there can be pesticides or fertilizers on that yard waste that can be harmful for your worms. Generally, you want to feed things in moderation that are starchy, so you can feed your worms like bread, pasta, but I would really limit that. I would probably avoid feeding anything starchy when possible. Anything that puts off an odor, vegetable matter wise, like onion or garlic, probably you want to avoid. Not just because it attracts pests like roaches or mice or something like that, but it also just smells bad, right? So you don't want your worm bin to smell horrible. You want it to smell nice and earthy, which it should. Okay, things not to feed your worms. You don't ever want to feed your worms meat, bones, or fats. Basically, that stuff will rot, and it's going to get really smelly, and then you're going to have an issue. That seems like common sense, but you'd be surprised. Don't feed them anything spicy, including peppers, any seasoned food with salts, that sort of thing you want to avoid. Don't feed them citrus. Acidic food is bad for your worms. So anything with high acidity you want to avoid. Lemons, limes, oranges. Tomatoes are a little acidic, but I found worms actually really like tomato, so take from that what you will. Anything processed or baked, like sugary food, like little cookies or something like that, just don't bother. And then dairy products, don't scoop rotten yogurt into your worm bin, or cheese or anything like that. It's not a good idea. All right, I'm down in my basement where my worm bin is kept. I'm going to go check on how they're doing, and I'm going to also show you guys what I've been feeding them lately and how they've been kind of taking to that. All right, so I got my camera flash on. I did a whole video setting up this worm bin. You can find that on my channel. I'll leave the link in the description of how to set up a worm bin. On top of my worm bin, I got this healthy info sheet. You can find it right there at www.goecofrugal.com, and I'll leave a link in the description as well. It basically just helps remind me what to feed and not to feed, or if I have a friend over or whatever, they can also be reminded not to poison my worms with citrus or something like that. I got my flash on here because I'm assuming they're going to be down in the darkness a little bit. You can see the little tomato scrap there. I've got 200 guys in here, about 200. So you can see there's tomato. I'm not sure if you caught them there, but they've been enjoying this tomato a lot. And I got another scrap over here of tomato. You can see some of them. The thing with worms is they hate light. So as soon as you're exposing them to the light, they're going to go crawling away. So actually last time I did this, I uncovered like this huge ball of worms. So there's some more guys. Cool, so it looked like my guys were pretty happy and healthy. In general, just be simple with what you feed them. Stick to fruits and vegetables and paper scraps. Don't ever feed them citrus. Don't ever feed them meats or anything that's going to rot and smell really bad, and you'll be A-okay. Thanks for watching.